Hello fellow fake wrestlers, my name is VideoJames, and today we're going to be looking at how to use Incineroar. So, if you don't know, I'm doing the 3 Alolan starters in a row because of the event that just got released. So, if you don't know what the event was, it was basically an event that was released through Pokebank, that anyone who had Pokebank would be receiving hidden ability copies of the 3 Alolan starters, that you get a hidden ability copy of Decidueye, Primarina, and Incineroar, which is honestly really great because their hidden abilities are amazing. I'm honestly willing to say that Gen 7 probably gave the starters the best hidden abilities out of all of them, in terms of just like cumulative over the 3 starters. So, last time I did Last time I did a video on Primarina, and I said I would do a video on Incineroar today. So, I'm doing that. I'll leave a link down in the description for you guys to go check out the Primarina video in case you missed it, as well as the Decidueye video, because honestly, those two are very useful now that they got their hidden abilities. Regardless, looking at Incineroar, we see that it is actually a Fire-Dark type, meaning we are going to be getting that resistance to Fire, Grass, Ice. We're going to be getting the resistance to Ghost, and the resistance to Dark. And we are going to be getting that normal damage from Fairy, because of the Fire cancellation of Fairy, and the Dark weakness to Fairy. However, we are going to be super affected by Water, Fighting, Ground, Rock, and I believe something else. Water, Fighting, Ground, Rock. Actually, no, that's it. Water, Fighting, Ground, and Rock. Huh. I thought there was another one, but I guess not. Then we see Incineroar's abilities that we have Blaze. When the HP is below a third, the power of Fire-type moves gets increased by 50%. So, say we take a lot of damage off of a Flare Blitz, then we just use Incineroar and just do massive amounts of damage with another Flare Blitz. And then we have the hidden ability Intimidate. Now, we all know what Intimidate does, and Incineroar getting it is just absolutely broken. Now, I have to admit, I don't really like Incineroar's design all too much. I honestly, it's my least favorite of the Alolan starters, just because I really don't like its design. I'm sorry. Not only do I not like the gray pattern, I don't honestly think that gray looks very nice, but I also don't like how the arms get skinnier as they go on. Like, they turn into almost nothing by the wrists, and the legs have that same problem, but then up top, they got a tiny bit of muscle. I really don't like that, just because it leaves it looking very disproportionate. In our stats, we see it's got a base total of 530, that we got 90 in both defenses, meaning we can be potentially tanky in either situation. We got 95 in the HP, we got 115 in the attack, meaning this thing isn't really going to be a pushover. We got 80 in the special attack, and we have 60 in the speed. So right away we can tell Incineroar, not going to be too much of a fast Pokemon, I would say, that we're going to be getting outsped by a lot. In fact, our max speed, even with a neutral nature, is only going to be 1 point above a Landorus with no investment. And our max stats with beneficial nature isn't exactly going to be that great either. So we see the first Incineroar set is actually a Choice Banded Incineroar set. So we see we got Choice Band with Intimidate, we have Flare Blitz, we have Darkest Lariat, we have Thunder Punch, and we have U-Turn with the maxed out attack and speed, and the 4 EVs from the Special Defense, which is a thing for a reason, and also the Adamant Nature. Now, the reason for there being EVs in the Special Defense is because of stuff like Porygon. So if you don't know, download usually tends to take after the lower stat, I believe. So when you run up against a Porygon with this kind of Incineroar, it's going to end up downloading in attack rather than special attack, and we're actually going to be able to take a couple more hits from it than we would if it were downloading in special attack. Now we see we got the moveset, we got Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz has that massive power, and it's a fire move, meaning that fire type is going to get the boost from the stab. We have Darkest Lariat, and the Darkest Lariat is actually one of the better dark moves, just because it ignores opponent's stat changes. So, say I ran up against something like, Cursing Sableye. Then we just use Darkest Lariat, we ignore the stat changes, and we just go up into that Sableye and just wreck his face. Now we got Thunder Punch. Now, you can substitute Thunder Punch for Earthquake. I've seen some people substitute Thunder Punch for Earthquake, but I just put Thunder Punch on this one because I feel like it's good as a coverage to water types, plus it can help deal with stuff like flying types. And then we also have U-Turn just to pivot out of situations that if we run up against something like a Greninja, or if we anticipate them switching into something like a Greninja that we don't really want to face, then we can just use U-Turn, pivot out, and get into what we really want to fight. And then with the Intimidate ability, we are actually going to be lowering our opponent's attack, meaning we should be able to take a decent hit with our 331 and 216 in the defense, and we should be able to 2-slap our opponent fairly easily. What's great about Incineroar in this generation is the fact that it's a dark type. And if you don't know, Prankster had a nerf in Gen 7 where it doesn't affect dark types. So Pokemon like Klefki, it's mainly used as something to shut down your opponent, that a lot of times it'll have stuff like Thunder Wave, and then it'll set up Light Screen, Reflect, Stealth Rocks, Spikes, what have you, and it'll get all that off first due to the Prankster ability. However, Prankster can't affect dark types, which makes Incineroar all the more powerful because you can swap it in to stuff like Klefki or Mega Bayonet, and we can just kind of block them out and just avoid getting a status and just hit them while they're trying to set up. Now, unfortunately, this isn't going to be a fast Incineroar, but you could swap out some things on this set for a Choice Scarf set. So instead of a Choice Band with the Adamant nature, you could go a Choice Scarf with the Jolly nature, and you could actually get more speed and less attack, and your attack would only be getting knocked down in the 320s, but you'd still be doing massive amounts of damage. And the next set is actually a Swords Dance Incineroar. So this set's basically a Swords Dance kind of Focus Sash set that we've got, again, Dance with Darkest Lariat, Flare Blitz, and Earthquake with the Focus Sash and Intimidate. And then we have just the maxed out attack and speed with the Jolly nature this time, and the 4 EVs thrown in the special defense. Now, the basic idea behind this one is we know we're going to be taking a hard hit from something like a Landorus. That Landorus probably going to be doing a good deal of damage to us, so I would say put something like Incineroar into the mix, and then once we get that first Swords Dance off, if the Focus Sash needs to protect us, we can use that, get off our first turn, and then we can just hit with Darkest Lariat, Flare Blitz, or Earthquake, and we might be able to outspeed the Landorus should it have no speed investment. Now, you could run Drain Punch as opposed to Earthquake, just as kind of like a health recovery, that with Swords Dance, Drain Punch is going to actually be doing a good amount of damage, so you could do a very good amount of damage with a Drain Punch on a stuff like, say, a Greninja, that if a Greninja comes in, tries to kill you and fails, then you can go Drain Punch, steal your health back, and you can actually do a good amount of damage while possibly taking that Greninja out. It also works great against stuff like Celesteela, that a Celesteela, if it's trying to set up, then we can just go one Swords Dance, and then we can go Flare Blitz next turn, and we can just kind of take out that Celesteela if it's not too bulky. And the final set is actually a stall kind of Incineroar. So we see we got the leftovers with Intimidate once again. Now, Intimidate's really helpful on this set. You could have substituted Blaze for any of the other sets, but with this set, I would have to say you should always run Intimidate. So we can see we got the Will-O-Wisp with Bulk Up, and we got Flare Blitz and Darkest Lariat with the leftovers and the Intimidate ability, and we have the maxed out HP and special defense with the Careful nature. So the idea behind this Incineroar is we're basically setting ourselves up to be tanky. So with the ability Intimidate, we're going to be cutting our opponent's attack down. So the first thing we want to do is typically send out a Will-O-Wisp. Now, if you don't know, Burn actually has the effect of lowering our opponent's attack without actually saying that it's lowering the attack. So a Burn would cut the opponent's attack by, I believe, I forget what it is, but I think it cuts it down by 1 stage. Just like with Paralyze, it cuts the opponent's speed down by 2. Then after we set up the Will-O-Wisp, we can just go for Bulk Up. That with our leftovers, we're going to be getting a decent bit of health recovery. And with our maxed out HP and special defense, we're going to be quite tanky. That with 394 in the HP and 306 in the special defense, we're going to be at least a 2 or 3 hit KO. So while we're setting up with the Will-O-Wisp, we can kind of just prepare for our next attack. Or we can just set up with Bulk Up. That Bulk Up, we can go for just a straight attack and defense raise, and raise our attack up to the 390s, and raise our defense up into the 300s, so we're just getting that even tankier. And we just got Flare Blitz for that massive fire damage, plus the stab from the fire typing, and Darkest Lariat to ignore stuff that's kind of stockpiling us. So, like a cursing Snorlax, we run up Darkest Lariat, we ignore their stat changes from the curse, and we just take them out. So yeah, that's basically going to be it for how to use Incineroar. It's a pretty straightforward Pokemon, I have to say. Incineroars kind of get that straightforward sort of move pool, and that kind of straightforward stat change as well. That with its stats set up, it's kind of made to where you want to be extremely strong, and you don't have to worry too much about speed. In fact, with 60 as a base speed, you're not really going to be able to worry about speed that much, because a lot of stuff's going to be outspeeding you. Regardless, Incineroar is still useful in a lot of circumstances. It is useful for shutting down prankster Pokemon like Klefki. It is very useful for shutting down Klefki, because it's just got that massive fire attack, which Klefki does not want to sit in for. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video here. I have no clue what Pokemon I'm going to do after this, so if you guys have any suggestions, as always, let me know down in the comments below, and if you guys did like this video, you can slap the like button as always, and I'll see all you beautiful people in the next video.